Welcome to Guide Mia. Today we're going to talk about assigning a case to a designer. This is the lab manager's daily bread on Cympha. A clinic submits a case, it lands in your queue, and your job is to look it over and put it in the right hands. By the end you'll know how to triage the case queue, open a submitted case and judge whether it's ready to design, assign a designer from the dialog, what happens to the case status the moment you confirm, and why AlignerBot cases never appear in that picker at all. The first pass takes about 6 minutes. Once you know the queue, about 30 seconds per case. Follow along on screen, or just listen, the written guide has every click. Prerequisites first, because assigning without them is just moving paper around. You need the lab manager role on a lab whose onboarding wizard is complete. You need at least one approved team member with the designer role. Verify on the team page, where real designers show the designer badge with no pending approval note. If your designers are still pending, approve them first. Pending members can't receive anything. And you need a submitted case to work on. The status badge reads submitted while a case waits for triage. One expectation to set right now: if you want AlignerBot to do the work instead of a human, that's not a choice you make in the assign dialog. What you need for that is an AlignerBot team member whose workstation is paired. There's a separate install and pair guide for the agent side of it, and then the work dispatches automatically to that paired workstation. It is never picked from this dialog. We'll come back to exactly how that behaves in a few minutes. Step 1. Click Case Queue in the sidebar, or go straight to the queue page at app.cympha.com. The header reads Case Queue, with the subtitle, Review Incoming Cases and Assign Designers, which is exactly the job description. The table below lists every case routed to your lab, regardless of status, submitted, designing, awaiting approval, all of it in one place. The columns are patient, category, status, designer, and created, plus per row action buttons on the right. Think of this queue as your control room. Everything your lab currently owes anyone is somewhere on this one page, and every other view in the app is a filtered slice of it. So the first skill is narrowing it to the rows that need you today. The queue shows everything, but triage only cares about one slice. The filter bar at the top has a status dropdown. It defaults to all statuses, and a search box. Click the drop-down and pick Submitted. The table narrows to exactly the rows waiting on your decision, and nothing else. The search box is worth knowing too. It matches on patient name only, not the doctor, not the category. Its real use case is when a customer pings you about a specific case and you want to jump straight to it instead of scrolling. Between those two controls, you can be looking at any case in your lab within a few seconds, which is what makes the 30-second triage realistic. Click the patient name, or anywhere on the row except the action buttons, and the case detail page opens. This is where the triage judgment happens. You'll see the intake form values the customer filled in, treatment parameters, patient demographics, scheduling. Every file they uploaded, with previews where Cympha can render them. The lab slip, a PDF compilation of the whole order. The button reads Download Lab Slip, and it's worth grabbing if you like reading on paper. The activity log, already carrying the case created and file added events. And if your lab has automation policies enabled, a suggested actions tray in the left column. Skim the parameters, glance at the files, and ask yourself one question: could a designer start on this today without going back to the doctor? If yes, assign. If no, the case wants bouncing back to intake before it goes to anyone, and that's the next slide. 3 patterns should stop your assigning hand. Missing scans. Say an AlignerBot case arrived with no upper STL, a designer can't work from half a mouth. An ambiguous prescription. The classic is an extraction instruction that conflicts with the missing teeth list, whichever the doctor actually meant, guessing wrong costs a full design round. And the wrong category. A crown case submitted under the AlignerBot service will confuse everything downstream. In all 3 situations, the move is the same: get clarity before you assign. Use the chat. The customer button on the queue row opens the customer thread inline, and you can ask for the missing scan or the clarification without even leaving the queue. The half-minute you spend here is the cheapest quality gate in the whole pipeline. If the data is acceptable, on to the assignment itself. 2 ways to open it. Click the Assign button right on the queue row, the one with the User Plus icon, or use the assignment control on the right side Actions panel of the case detail page. Either way you get the same dialog, titled Assign Designer, with the line Select a Designer for the patient, and a single drop-down whose placeholder reads Select a Designer. That drop-down lists your approved team members carrying the designer role, by display name, their first and last name, or their email as a fallback if the name isn't set. 2 absences are worth understanding. Members still in pending approval don't appear, they need approving on the team page first. And AlignerBot seats never appear, this picker is for human designers only, full stop. That's not a gap in the software, it's the design, and it's the next thing we'll unpack. Here's the part that surprises new managers. AlignerBot cases don't go through the picker because nothing about them is picked. The automation runs on the paired workstation. Once an AlignerBot case lands in that machine's workspace, the agent manager's AlignerBot module launches OrthoPlus on it automatically, no dropdown, no click, no human in the loop. Your job is simply to let the case flow, the machine claims its own work. That said, the manual path stays open. You can assign an AlignerBot category case to a human designer who knows OrthoPlus and have them run it by hand. The picker will happily take a human for it. If you want the automatic behavior and don't have it yet, the pairing, the subscription, the AlignerBot seat on your team, there's a dedicated lecture in this series on setting up AlignerBot for your lab. Pick the designer and click Assign Designer. The button shows assigning with a spinner while the request is in flight, the dialog closes, and a toast confirms, designer assigned successfully. Now watch what changed, because it's more than a name. The status flips from submitted to designing automatically, the transition is wired into the assignment action, so there's no separate advanced status click to remember. The designer column on the queue now shows the assignee's name. An entry appears in the activity log, which matters months later when someone asks who had this case and when. And on the designer's side, the case appears in their My Assignments page immediately. If the wrong designer ended up with it, or 2 designers want to swap, repeat the exact same action. The Assign button also handles reassignment. The new designer replaces the old one, and the activity log records worker reassigned. From the moment the toast fires, 3 parallel stories. The designer sees the new case in their assignments. If they've paired the Cympha Agent Manager and configured a cloud monitoring workspace folder, the case files download to that folder on their machine, and they open the case in OrthoPlus, Implant Master, OrthoClick, or Studio. The designer's first day lecture covers that whole side of the handoff. An AlignerBot case takes the automated road, the paired workstation runs the OrthoPlus planning, the review file uploads back through the agent, and that upload by itself moves the case to awaiting approval, ready for the customer to review on the approval page. And you? The case never leaves your queue, it just wears a different status. You monitor progress, jump into the customer chat straight from the row when questions come up, and escalate if a designer is sitting on something too long. 4 snags. The Assign button is disabled, or the drop-down says no designers available, your team has no approved designers. Go to the team page, approve anyone showing a pending badge, and if there are no designer rows at all, have your designers sign up with your manager email. An AlignerBot case isn't running automatically, 3 checks, in order. Is the workstation powered on with the agent running? Its tray icon should read paired. Is OrthoPlus installed and licensed there? The AlignerBot menu only appears when it is. And is your AlignerBot team member approved, not still pending? A case seems stuck and submitted after you clicked Assign, refresh the page first. If the toast said designer assigned successfully, the transition is committed and your tab simply has stale data, the refresh will show it. If instead you got an error toast, the assignment genuinely didn't go through, so nothing was committed and the case is still yours to assign, reopen the dialog and try again. And a designer who never noticed the assignment, the case is in their My Assignments the moment you click, ask them to open Cympha and check there, rather than waiting on a notification. That's triage, filter for submitted, open the case, judge whether a designer could start on it today, and assign, 30 seconds per case once it's habit. The status flip, the routing, and the activity log all ride on that one click, which is why the queue stays honest even on a busy week. 2 neighboring lectures complete the picture. The designer's first day shows what happens on the receiving end of your click, and the AlignerBot setup lecture switches on the automatic path, so some cases design themselves with nobody in the picker at all. The written guide is at cympha.com. Open the docs section and find Assign a case to a designer, with the designer's first day and agent pairing guides linked right from it. If the series is earning its place in your queue, subscribe. We're walking through every Cympha workflow, one lecture at a time. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.